Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Live Ones. I am Big Matt, your capper extraordinaire, and the chase for 63 is officially on as we wrap up the second to last week of August. Aaron Judge has just been on a tear this week. I mean, even for him. But he blasted 3 home runs in the last 2 nights to bring his total up to 48 for the season. He's on pace for 61, putting him within striking distance of his own American League single season record of 62 that he set 2 years ago, and putting him in the position of being the only American leaguer to top 60 home runs in a season twice in his career. Ruth, Mantle, Maris, never did it. And at the clip he's at right now, and the way baseball is today, the biggest obstacle, we saw it in 2022, but it's going to be the lack of pitches to hit. We saw it in the fifth inning last night with runners on first and third and 1 out. The Guardians brought in Nick Sandlin, a right-hander. Seemed like a situation where they were going to try and get Judge out, maybe get him to ground into a double play, especially with a left-hander coming up after him in Austin Wells. That matchup was made for Judge, but they brought in Sandlin and they wound up walking him on purpose to load the bases with 1 out. And that decision wound up opening the floodgates. Giancarlo Stanton hit a 3-run homer after Wells was up. And the Yankees got a 4-run fifth inning to wind up winning the game. Not much else going on today. Like I said, we're getting out of that dead zone, but we're not quite there yet. We had a great first day back. We went a perfect 2-0 for plus 1.89 units. We got a full slate of Friday Night Baseball to go over ahead of the beginning of college football on Saturday. Let's get right to it. And we're going to start with the Yankees and the Rockies. And this might just be one of the easiest picks I've ever laid down. And just let me paint the scene for you. You got Kyle Freeland, who's one of the sorriest starters in MLB, playing on the road where he has an 8.23 ERA this year in Yankee Stadium with its infamous short porch against one of the hottest lineups in baseball. And on the other side, we got Carlos Rodon, who's been getting knocked around like no one's business since late June, giving up an average of almost 4 runs a start, and who can't get through 5 innings most of the time to save his life. They can't make this total high enough. It's 8.5 runs. Just give me the Yankees and the Rockies over 8.5 runs tonight. That's an easy pick-em lock. Moving on to the Phillies and the Royals, and tonight we're just going to be fading a pitcher who can't get his act together. Taijuan Walker just looks like a horrible free agent signing for the Phillies. He was struggling before his stint on the IL, and he hasn't looked any better since coming back. He's given up 6 earned runs, 8 hits, and 6 walks in just 8 2/3 innings of work his last 2 starts. He just looks lost out there. He looks like a deer in the headlights. His command is all over the place. His last start against the Nationals, he was up to over 80 pitches after just 4 innings. Those are terrible numbers against a bad Nationals team that's probably going to lose over 90 games again this year. The Royals, they're an explosive lineup with a lot of pop who are red hot right now. They've won 6 out of their last 7 games. They've averaged 6.5 runs a game over that stretch. I'm going to take the Royals team total on the first 5 innings tonight over 2.5 runs. Walker cannot get through a start without giving up 3 runs or more. Tonight should be no different. And for our last game tonight, we're going to go over to Camden Yards. And the second game of a critical 4-game set between the Orioles and the Astros. The Astros have just bulldozed their way to a strong lead in the AL West after a terrible start to the season. Orioles had been coasting most of the year at the top of the AL East. Now they've fallen behind the Yankees. Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros, with the exception of one bad start against the Pirates. He's been nice and reliable since the All-Star break. He gets you through 6 innings most of the time, only gives up 1 or 2 runs doing it. Cade Pavich on the mound for the Orioles just has been considerably less reliable in his rookie year. 5.77 ERA and a 1.58 whip. This is a guy who he doesn't have major league stuff, in my opinion. Out of that 1.58 whip, believe it or not, most of it's walks. He walks a ton of batters, sometimes 5 per start. That's terrible. That's the kind of issue they try to work you out of before you even get up to AAA, let alone the major leagues. But the Orioles were just really hurting for starting pitching this year. They're just so thin after Corbin Burns and Albert Suarez. I'm not standing in front of the Astros right now with this tear they've been on. The pitching matchup here is very one-sided. Even though the Orioles have the better offense in terms of power, I think Houston's is plenty good enough to get some runs off of a weak starter here. So I'm going to take the Astros on the first 5 money line, third and final pick. Everyone bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on X at Live One Sports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Have yourselves a great Friday night. College football starts tomorrow. We're going to be here. We're going to be capping it. We're going to enjoy it. Everybody have yourselves a great night.